Greetings! Welcome to The Word, where in this edition I'm going to be breaking down the Call of Duty downloadable content structure. Where it's been, where it's at now, where it's going, or at least should be going. And I got a lot of personal opinions here. I'm playing this one close to the chest. So I'm going to lay out some factoids here. I'm at least going to make a legitimate case in this video. So without further ado, I'll just dive on in. So we'll start out by stating the obvious. The current DLC structure is just horrible, it's outdated, and I will be very surprised if they stick with it with this Black Ops 4 that's coming out in October. The 4 times a year thing is just terrible because, one, by the time Map Pack 4 drops, the beta for the next Call of Duty has already come out, and two, it drops so late in the year in the cycle of the game, you're only going to get about a month and a half of playing it before the next Call of Duty comes out. And more than likely at that point, you're already kind of fatigued to Call of Duty, or that iteration of Call of Duty as it is anyway. So it's terrible. I get why they did it, because they wanted to market each individual map pack and have a like clockwork structure. We get 4 maps and a zombies map to add to the saga, since all of them have gone the zombies route as that third game mode. And it's just outdated and needs to be done away with. So with that being said, let's roll into what I see the fix being. So I started out this video by saying I was going to take us through the past, present, and future of the DLC structure of the Call of Duty franchise. So I've already gone over the here and now, and this next part I'm going to converge the past and the future into one thought. So my solution to this all is bring back Call of Duty Elite. So that's right, you heard me correctly. I said bring back Call of Duty Elite. It was replaced by the Season Pass after only 2 games, being Modern Warfare 3 and Black Ops 2. Come Call of Duty Ghost, all of a sudden we get the Season Pass. And for me, it just doesn't sit right, because the Season Pass is only good for, 4 times a year. And then on top of that, usually that 4th map pack isn't really all that up to par anyway. So if I could go off topic for just 1 minute here, talking about something else with Elite. So, you paid the $50, you got your DLC for the entire cycle of the game. But Elite offered so much more that the Season Pass didn't, right? You had your sense of community, you had your clans. That's something that totally went off the radar as well. You could do everything with your clan. You could recruit, manage, interact. You could do missions. They had community missions, lone wolf missions, clan missions that unlocked like a couple hours of XP or some symbols or calling cards or whatnot. And so you got all that wrapped into this one service or member. I think they called them memberships. But with the Season Pass, you get nothing, right? You get absolutely nothing, just the DLC, wham bam, thank you ma'am type stuff. But now I will get back on track now after I got that off my chest. So why do I think that Call of Duty Elite would be a great fix option here? Well, the whole thing with the DLC is the way that they would release it. If they were to keep that same business model, I'd call it, you got downloadable content structure every month of the year, or every month of the cycle of the game. And what was great about that, it wasn't always the same, what we're going to expect. It was kind of like a what's coming type deal. And sometimes you got 2 multiplayer maps, a face-off map. Sometimes you got face-off maps, zombies. Sometimes you got special ops missions with multiplayer maps. Sometimes you just got multiplayer maps and like a background, like the themes for your PlayStation or Xbox. So those were nice too. Those kind of went away. But it was just kind of like a little, what am I going to get, flavor of the month kind of thing. And I like the fact that you could pick and choose what you wanted to download. Like if 2 maps came out and I didn't want to download one, or if I wanted to ditch one off my hard drive, I could. Not to mention, like with Modern Warfare 3, you could turn on and off the DLC search from your party window, like when you're trying to matchmake. I think that was a great feature. If you want to just play the core maps, you could do that. If you want to turn on the DLC, play everything, you could do that as well. I think that was a great feature. Maybe they should bring that back, but that's core game, right? That's something that the developer would have to look at instead of the business model as a whole, like we're talking about. So that's why I think it would be perfect to bring back, because the way it was structured with the release. So the second really good point I'd like to bring up about Elite is that with the structure of monthly, you were never guaranteed exactly what they were going to release, which means they weren't obligated to put out multiplayer maps, one, before they were ready, or two, whatever they could just throw together. Like, they could focus on what their mindset was, and if they were grooving with multiplayer or grooving with like the third game mode, Special Ops, Zombies, they would do so, and the content was actually really good. So like, if I think of really fun maps, like iconic maps from Call of Duty, I don't think of DLC maps. None of those really come to mind, or at least original content DLC. But if I look at Modern Warfare 3, I can name Black Box, Overwatch, which is my favorite DLC map of all time out of all the games that's not reimagined, and you had Oasis. Those were some all pretty good, pretty fun, entertaining maps. And then Black Ops 2, they had Hydro and Cove. Those were original. But Black Ops 2 is where the map pack started, where you had the 4 and the Zombies that came out, and then they started the reimagined stuff, right? They had Studio and Dig, which were reimagined from their previous games from Treyarch. So because it's not guaranteed what you're going to get, I think you're going to get better quality content when it drops. And I never felt cheated with Elite, right? They never BS'd us with this reimagined stuff. If they gave us content from a previous Call of Duty, they didn't sugarcoat it. They literally just copy and pasted it, right? So with Modern Warfare 3, and I hate to keep using it as an example, but I think the DLC structure and the way they dropped it was just the perfect model, and I wish it went back to it. But with Modern Warfare 3, we got a straight copy and paste job from Terminal from Modern Warfare 2. It was free. It was free to everyone, regardless if you had Elite or not. And they didn't even change the name. They changed nothing about the map. They popped it in there. They said, here you go, guys. We know you love this map. And here, have at it. Everyone. Free. Now with this reimagined, we're still paying for a map that we've already played in a previous Call of Duty. That just doesn't sit right with me, right? You know, if I'm going to invest $50, I want $50 of new content. If you're going to reimagine something for fun or to bring back nostalgia, give it to everybody for free. Yeah, I'll put this out here. I think this is a no-brainer, but you know, people pay for the DLC, and you come out with a new gun, a new melee weapon, a new perk, whatever, what have you. It needs to be available from the get-go as soon as it's released. I shouldn't have to spend either my credits in-game or actual money to go diving in loot boxes and try to get it by chance. That's just ridiculous. I'm paying for DLC. It needs to be all-inclusive. Now, if you want to have microtransactions for like cosmetic items, I'm fine with that because I can play the game and not sweat having a cowboy hat on or something stupid like that, right? For me, even then, I think maybe all cosmetic items should be unlocked by like challenges throughout the game, like you know, the backgrounds, not the backgrounds, but the calling cards and emblems. All that stuff should be challenges. I shouldn't have to go into a loot crate for that. That's just ridiculous. And then lastly, to wrap it up, let's ditch the term season pass. Season pass just seems like it's very transaction-y. You know, you hand them their money, they rip you off a ticket and say, here's your ticket, redeem it. You know, you're going to get what you get when you get it. And I think we need to bring back the term. When it was Call of Duty Elite, it was a membership, right? You got a membership to Call of Duty Elite for that cycle of the game. You got all the features that came with it, the social aspect, the DLC. You know, you were truly part of a community. You got to pick and choose what you wanted to download. You know, what maps. Yeah, if you liked it, you kept it. You didn't, you got to ditch it. Turn on, off DLC matchmaking. It was just so much more than just the DLC. So I'm gonna go ahead and leave it at that. That's all I got for this video. You know. Let me know in the comments you agree, disagree with me, have other thoughts, other ideas on how the DLC should come out. You know, I'd love to hear it. Let's talk about it. If you liked the video, give it a like, subscribe to the channel, and as always, I'll catch you guys next time on The Word.
Go get him, noob.